the seventh supercontinent of the Great Thousand Worlds, the 10,000 Pill Continent, the peak of the 10,000 Pill Domain. Buzz, buzz, buzz. With the conclusion of the 10,000 Pills gathering, everyone in the heavenly spirit dimension was directly transferred back to the Great Thousand Worlds by Gao Yuan using the dimension embryo. Countless figures shot out from the distorted space, and upon realizing they had returned to the 10,000 Pill Domain, they immediately moved, rushing toward the skies in all directions. From this moment on, all the shocking events that occurred during this 10,000 Pills gathering would spread throughout the Great Thousand Worlds through these tens of thousands of advanced alchemists. Xiaoyan also appeared in the sky, and soon, Yao Xin and the others were also teleported out. They all moved towards Xiaoyan. Senior Xiaoyan, you were so amazing just now. After gathering around Xiaoyan, the most excited among them was obviously Yao Anren. When Xiaoyan won the championship with the Heavenly Soul Pill, she nearly cheered out loud, and Yao Xin and the others were equally overjoyed, though not as outwardly expressive as Yao Anren. But they all understood what the championship of the 10,000 Pills gathering represented. It was the most prestigious alchemy competition in the Great Thousand Worlds. With his performance, Xiaoyan's alchemy skills were probably already among the top 5, or even higher in the Great Thousand Worlds. Hee, you all did well too, Xiaoyan smiled and said as he saw Yao Anren and the others' excitement. You all have great potential as alchemists. If you continue to work hard, you may even become divine alchemists or heavenly alchemists. By then, you will be famous throughout the Great Thousand Worlds. Yes, we will work hard, Yao Xin and the others nodded in agreement. Then, they asked, Senior Xiaoyan, now that the 10,000 Pills gathering is over, should we head back to the Do Domain directly? Xiaoyan nodded in response. I've been away for a year, so I need to return. However, before I go, I have other matters to attend to. You go ahead first, I'll follow soon. After saying that, Xiaoyan flicked his finger, and the space nearby began to distort, forming a dimensional portal. The energy aura emanating from it made Yao Xin and the others immediately recognize it as the portal leading to the Do Domain. As the creator of the Do Domain and the master of the dimension, Xiaoyan could open a portal to the Do Domain anywhere in the Great Thousand Worlds at any time, even without the dimension embryo in his possession. Go ahead, I'll catch up soon, Xiaoyan waved at them, and then his figure moved, speeding off toward another place at the peak of 10,000 Pills. After Xiaoyan left, Yao Xin and the others, who had originally planned to follow him and bring the championship joy back to the Do Domain, could only shrug helplessly. They then passed through the dimensional portal Xiaoyan had opened and returned to the Do Domain world. A few minutes later, on the other side of the peak of 10,000 Pills, Xiaoyan's figure soared past. At this time, those who had been teleported out of the heavenly spirit dimension had not yet completely left, so Xiaoyan occasionally saw figures flying by. Among these, Xiaoyan was searching for one person, and soon, he found his target. At that moment, an elderly figure stood facing the wind at the peak of 10,000 Pills. The old man gazed calmly at the participants who were leaving one after another. He seemed to be waiting for something. Whoosh! The sound of the air splitting echoed, and a figure dropped down from the sky, landing behind the old man. It was Xiaoyan. Upon seeing the old man standing on the mountaintop, Xiaoyan was stunned. Senior Ming Jiuhua, were you waiting for me? I knew you had something to ask of me. The old man slowly turned around. It was none other than Ming Jiuhua, the elder of the Ming clan and the top contender in the last round of the elimination matches at the 10,000 Pills gathering. Hearing this, Xiaoyan was even more stunned. He had only glanced at Ming Jiuhua in the heavenly spirit dimension, yet the old man seemed to have known his intentions. Xiaoyan couldn't help but marvel at Ming Jiuhua's keen perceptive abilities. Senior Ming Jiuhua, I, Xiaoyan, wish to exchange for the soul-nurturing pill you have. Name your price. Xiaoyan wasted no time and directly expressed his purpose. The soul-nurturing pill? Has your divine soul been injured? Ming Jiuhua frowned and asked, or is it someone else? To be honest, Senior Ming Jiuhua, it's my daughter whose divine soul has been injured, Xiaoyan replied. After his words fell, he saw Ming Jiuhua snap his fingers, and a snow-white jade bottle flew into Xiaoyan's hand. Seeing Ming Jiuhua's swift action, Xiao Yin couldn't help but feel a surge of joy. Looking at the jade bottle in his hand, he could tell that it contained the soul-nurturing pill. With this, Xiao Yan's daughter, Xiao Zhao, would recover from her soul injuries. Ming Jiuhua must have known something and waited for him. Although Ming Jiuhua was only at the perfected Earth Supreme level, far weaker than Xiao Yan, this gesture greatly increased Xiao Yan's fondness for him. Thank you, Senior Ming Jiuhua. If you ever need any assistance, feel free to send a message to the Do domain. As long as it's within our capability, the Do domain will certainly help. With that, Xiao Yan flipped his hand, and a Qinkuan bag appeared, which he handed to Ming Jiuhua. I don't have anything else on me, but here is 100 million supreme spiritual liquid. Let it serve as payment for the soul-nurturing pill. However, Ming Jiuhua waved his hand and did not accept the 100 million supreme spiritual liquid. He smiled faintly. Hee, I'm already content with the favor of helping the champion of the 10,000 pills gathering. Elder, this might not be a good idea, right? Xiao Yin glanced at the jade vial in his hand, feeling a bit awkward. Although he was the champion of the 10,000 pills gathering, the value of the soul-nurturing pill that Ming Jiuhua gave him was not insignificant. There's nothing wrong with it. Ming Jiuhua smiled again, then explained. This soul-nurturing pill has two major effects. First, it can periodically heal injuries to the divine soul or soul. Second, it nurtures the soul and divine soul, clearing out the impurities that hinder cultivation, making future training much more effective. Periodic healing? Xiao Yan was stunned after hearing Ming Jiuhua's explanation. That's right. While the soul-nurturing pill can heal divine soul injuries, the healing process occurs periodically. For ordinary humans, even if their divine soul is reduced to a mere imprint, as long as their consciousness remains, it can be healed. The healing with the soul-nurturing pill causes the user to fall into a deep sleep, during which healing and repair happen continuously. The cycle lasts about 2 to 3 months of sleep per year, repeating for several years or even a decade. Not only can it repair any injuries, but it can also help the divine soul transform. Ming Jiuhua added, the length of the healing cycle depends on the severity of the injury. If the injury isn't too severe, it may even be healed in less than a year. What if the injured person is not entirely human? Xiao Yin asked after listening to Ming Jiuhua. Not entirely human? Does your daughter have the bloodline of a spirit beast? Ming Jiuhua inquired. Yes, she does have some bloodline that doesn't belong to humans, Xiao Yin nodded. Since it's in the category of spirit beasts or divine beasts, then you should know that spirit beasts and divine beasts are generally stronger in body but weaker in their soul and divine soul, Ming Jiuhua explained. If part of your daughter's soul and divine soul comes from a spirit beast, it might increase the difficulty of healing. However, with the power of the soul-nurturing pill, healing is still entirely possible, though it may take several more years, and the sleep duration will also be extended. Phew. Hearing this, Xiao Yin let out a sigh of relief. Although the healing time might be extended, at least Xiao Zhao's divine soul injury could be healed, and she might even undergo a further transformation. That was enough for him. Thank you, Elder Ming Jiuhua. If there's ever a chance, Xiao Yin will definitely repay you. Xiao Yin took the jade vial and bowed slightly to Ming Jiuhua. It seems there's nothing else. In that case, I should return to the Ming clan. Ming Jiuhua also bowed to Xiao Yin before his figure moved, transforming into a streak of light and flying towards the distant horizon. At the peak of 10,000 pills, only Xiao Yin remained. But just as Ming Jiuhua left, another sound of breaking air rang out. Xiao Yin turned his head to look, and saw a graceful figure descending from mid-air to his side. It was Lu Xian. Finally found you. I thought you had already left, Lu Xian said, panting slightly as she approached Xiao Yin. You were looking for me? Xiao Yin asked, looking at the arriving Lu Xian. Hey, didn't you ask me to go with you to the Do domain to be your alchemist? Lu Xian pouted. Oh, I almost forgot. You're planning to come with me to the Do domain? Xiao Yin asked. Yeah, I just asked clan leader Danyu and the others. I was shocked to find out that the Do domain is actually one of the 10 largest super lower dimensions. How come you didn't tell me earlier? Lu Xian shot Xiao Yin a reproachful glance. You must have looked down on me before, right? You're overthinking it. But you have been a bit arrogant. You should change that. Otherwise, if you meet other members of the Alliance with a bad temper, they might just beat you up, Xiaoyan teased, then snapped his fingers, reopening the dimensional portal to the Do domain. Let's go. You'll be an alchemist in the Do domain from now on, though temporarily. At least try to look decent. How do you know I'm temporary? Do you believe I could teach them for 100 years? Lu Xin grumbled, but before she could finish, Xiaoyan had already stepped into the portal to the Do domain. Hey, wait for me. After Xiaoyan entered the portal, Lu Xin quickly followed. As the two entered the Do domain, the dimensional portal slowly disappeared. After Xiaoyan brought Lu Xin back to the Do domain, in another part of the 10,000 Pills Summit, the figures of Dan Yu and Gao Yuan appeared. They watched where Xiaoyan and Lu Xin had left and finally gave their true assessment of Xiaoyan. Flame Emperor Xiaoyan, this person definitely has an extraordinary future. In the deep darkness, twisted space formed a current powerful enough to tear apart anything in its path. This is a corner of the lower dimension world, and the world floating here has only recently been born. Its name is the Do domain, which was once the Do Chi world of the 7th super lower dimension. At this moment, on the central continent of the Do domain, atop a mountain peak that pierced the clouds, a figure in black robes sat silently in meditation. He gazed at the seemingly endless sea of clouds ahead, lost in thought. This person was none other than Xiaoyan. It had been 2 days since the conclusion of the 10,000 Pills gathering in the Great Thousand Worlds. Xiaoyan, who had left the Do domain a year ago, returned shortly after the 8 members of Yao Xin's group arrived. In the year that Xiaoyan had been away, much had transpired in the Do domain. Under the guidance of Dragon Origin and others, the busy period of the Do domain was just beginning. Everything was in its early stages, and many things were still in disarray. As for the spiritual energy assimilation caused by Xiaoyan's anger a year ago, it had long since concluded. Although the original Do Chi had been fully converted into spiritual energy, when compared, this energy was still weaker than the spiritual energy of the Great Thousand Worlds. This was clearly related to the overall structure of the Do domain itself. After Xiaoyan's return, news of his victory in the 10,000 Pills gathering quickly spread among the powerful experts, and within a single day, the entire Do domain had learned of it. Even now, the majority of the people in the Do domain were still immersed in the joy of his triumph. The proudest person was undoubtedly Yao Lao. Back when he had trained a 9th-grade alchemist on the Do Chi continent, he had been immensely proud. Now, Xiaoyan had reached the forefront of the alchemy world in the Great Thousand Worlds. Although Yao Lao could no longer guide Xiaoyan's alchemy, as an elder, he still hoped to see Xiaoyan continue to refine his skills to even greater heights. At the same time, Xiaoyan called for a meeting. Through the many managers of the Do domain who gathered at the conference, he learned about the progress made over the past year. During this time, Dragon Origin had planned 3 key initiatives to restore the Do domain. First, he invested several hundred million supreme spiritual liquids to hold an event called the 10,000 Races Gathering. This gathering was aimed at all the races and sects in the Do domain, with participants being from the younger generation. Dragon Origin's goal was to select the most talented among them, offer them the best cultivation resources, and provide them with 5 years of training. Afterward, they would carry the hopes of the Do domain and venture into the Great Thousand Worlds to forge their own paths, representing the hope of the Do domain. Second, a super academy was established, open to the entire Do domain. This academy occupied a vast continent of millions of square miles in the Do domain, with its principal being a powerful Earth Supreme. Numerous Supreme Stage experts were also stationed there to train the younger generation. Third, Dragon Origin aimed to link the Do domain to the Great Thousand Worlds to upgrade the spiritual energy within the Do domain. This task was still incomplete, as finding a suitable location had become a major problem. After Xiaoyan's return, he took this task upon himself, as he was the master of the Do domain's dimension, and such a task could only be completed by him. Now, sitting atop the mountain peak amidst the sea of clouds, Xiaoyan's thoughts were focused on the task of linking the Do domain to the Great Thousand Worlds. Suddenly, Xiaoyan's brow furrowed, and he turned to look behind him. A graceful figure was walking toward him. It was Kai Lin. How is Xiao Zhao doing? Seeing Kai Lin approaching, Xiao Yin immediately stood up and asked. After returning to the Do domain, Xiao Yin had quickly handed the soul-nurturing pill he received from Ming Juhua to Kai Lin, as it was an important task Kai Lin had assigned him before he left. Her breath is stable now. Xiao Lin has been watching over her, but according to what you said, it will take at least 3 months for her to wake up. Afterward, she will need to sleep for half the year every year. That's quite a delay for her cultivation. Kai Lin walked up to Xiao Yin and gave him a playful look. Don't you think you're being too harsh? Enduring hardship and injury have their benefits. Didn't I lie in bed for years after saving teacher? Xiao Yin replied. Xiao Zhao is a girl, not like you men. Kai Lin still seemed displeased, but at that moment, she slowly extended her slender, jade-like hand toward Xiao Yin. In her hand was an envelope. This is yours. It arrived about half a month ago, and the sender is a big shot. A letter? A big shot? Seeing the letter Kai Lin handed over, Xiao Yin furrowed his brow and immediately took it. Upon opening it, the words he saw made him immediately understand what was going on. The Undying Lord. The envelope came from the land of 10,000 graves, and the sender was the Undying Lord. Xiao Yin immediately recalled the letter he had sent a year ago to the land of 10,000 graves through an intermediary in the Xuanfu domain. Xiao Yin immediately opened the envelope, but he was also prepared for the worst. If even the Undying Lord couldn't do anything to resurrect Xiao Xian, it would truly be fate's cruel joke. However, as Xiao Yin opened the envelope, his brow furrowed once again. Inside the envelope was a blank sheet of paper. Staring at the paper, Xiao Yin fell into deep thought for a moment before flipping his palm. A brilliant flame, the Emperor Flame, surged into the air. The rising Emperor Flame engulfed the sheet of white paper in Xiao Yan's hand, but the situation he had expected did not occur. To his surprise, the sheet of paper floated calmly within the Emperor Flame, completely unharmed. Seeing this, Xiao Yin increased the flame's intensity, and soon, the paper began to burn, though the process was slow. Buzz. But just as the paper started to burn, Xiao Yin suddenly realized that the surrounding world had begun to darken. After a moment, the world before him had turned into a land of total darkness, with countless flickering firelights floating like will-o'-the-wisps. It felt as though he had entered the realm of the dead. Heh, Flame Emperor Xiao Yin. A pillar-level figure has finally appeared in the lower dimension. A faint voice laughed from the dark, eerie place. Xiao Yin looked up and saw an elderly man holding a fire lantern, slowly walking towards him. The terrifying aura emanating from the man confirmed Xiao Yan's suspicion. This person was none other than the ruler of the land of 10,000 graves, the Undying Lord. Junior Xiao Yin, I greet the Undying Lord. Xiao Yin immediately cupped his hands and bowed. His gaze locked on the fire lantern in the Undying Lord's hand. With Xiao Yan's deep understanding of the myriad heavenly and divine flames in the great thousand worlds, he knew that the ghostly white flame within the lantern was the ghost fire, ranked 9th on the billion flames list. Controlling the ghost fire meant controlling the undead world, and the Undying Lord was a master of this, commanding an army of countless undead spirits as a super battle formation master. We're all on the same side here, no need to be so formal. The Undying Lord approached Xiao Yin, and though Xiao Yin knew that this wasn't the Undying Lord's true body, the pressure of raw power was incredibly real. This was likely the power of the ghost fire. We don't have much time. Everything here can only last until that piece of paper is burned. As for your problem, the Undying Lord spoke to Xiao Yin. The person you're trying to resurrect only has a soul imprint left, and their consciousness has already dissipated, right? Yes. Xiao Yin nodded. The real difficulty in resurrecting Xiao Xian was the fact that his consciousness had already vanished. If you're ready, I'll give you the only solution, the Undying Lord said. Xiao Yan's gaze darkened slightly upon hearing this. First, you were right to come to me, and there is a way to resurrect your ancestor, Xiao Xian, the Undying Lord continued. As soon as the words left his mouth, Xiao Yan's darkened gaze lit up. But then doubt crept in. If the Undying Lord had a way to resurrect Xiao Xian, why had he asked Xiao Yin to prepare himself? However, while there is a way, it's a complicated one. At the very least, fully resurrecting him is impossible, the undying Lord added. All things in this world, the birth and death of countless beings, must go through one cycle, reincarnation. If you're trying to resurrect someone whose consciousness has not dissipated, the heavenly alchemist's human-forming technique is more than enough. But once the consciousness is lost, everything must go through the process of reincarnation and rebirth. Therefore, the only way to bring your ancestor back to life is to preserve his past life memories, then send his soul imprint into reincarnation. Once the time is right, you can return those memories to him. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed upon hearing this. So, what the Undying Lord meant by preparation was essentially starting over with Xiao Xian's life. I know this is hard to accept, but your time is limited. The choice is yours to make, the Undying Lord said. If you want your ancestor to enter reincarnation, I can help you accomplish that. The Undying Lord then stood before Xiao Yan, awaiting his decision. Minutes passed. At this moment, the sheet of paper in the external world had less than 1/5 of it left. In half a minute, it would burn up completely. Finally, Xiao Yan made his decision. Let Xiao Xian enter reincarnation, he murmured, his voice filled with hesitation. After Xiao Yan made his decision, a spiritual seal floated out from between his brows. It was the soul mark left behind by Xiao Xian after burning his soul. Xiao Yan had given it to the Undying Lord, who then placed the soul mark into the ghost fire lamp in his hand for nurturing. Heh, you're just a living person, the Undying Lord said with a smile after storing Xiao Xian's soul mark. He then shook his head at Xiao Yan, and Xiao Yan saw the ghostly realm around him slowly dissipate, everything fading away, as the Undying Lord's final words echoed. You're not dead, so how can you understand the thoughts of the dead? To the point of making decisions for someone who has already passed. Under the protection of the Emperor Flame, the last piece of white paper was finally burned away, and the ghostly realm before Xiao Yan completely vanished. At the same time, Xiao Yan's consciousness returned to the summit of Cloud Sea Mountain. Behind him, Kai Lin was still quietly standing, waiting. The moment Xiao Yan's consciousness returned, Kai Lin immediately noticed. How did it go? What did the Undying Lord say? Kai Lin asked as she approached. I just dealt with some matters concerning the ancestor Xiao Xian. It's more or less settled, Xiao Yan replied. Kai Lin nodded. When Xiao Yan mentioned Xiao Xian's ancestor, she had already guessed the situation. It seemed that Xiao Yan wanted the Undying Lord to help resurrect Xiao Xian, and based on Xiao Yan's words just now, the Undying Lord had agreed. Kai Lin knew that the status of Xiao Xian's ancestor in Xiao Yan's heart was as significant as the ancestor of the ancient heavenly serpent in her own. What about the heavenly serpent ancestor? Kai Lin asked next. Now, just like Xiao Xian, the ancestor of the ancient heavenly serpent only had a soul mark left. The situation with the ancestor of the ancient heavenly serpent isn't as irreversible as Xiao Xian's. In the future, I'll find some time to use the human refining technique to resurrect him. As for the materials for his new body, I'm afraid you'll have to find them, since you both share the same bloodline. Only you would know which body would be most suitable, Xiao Yan said. Different situation? Kai Lin was stunned for a moment upon hearing Xiao Yan's words. The ancestor Xiao Xian's consciousness has already dispersed. He can only be reincarnated, Xiao Yan explained. Upon hearing this, Kai Lin finally understood. By the way, what about Senior Tai Su Shengyan? Xiao Yan suddenly changed the subject. He should still be using your dimension embryo to study something, Kai Lin replied. In the past year, he and that Taipang have helped quite a lot. I didn't expect them to both be heavenly supremes. Taipang is quite an honest person. I heard you had a battle with him. Heh, we were more or less evenly matched. He's no simple person, Xiao Yan said with a faint smile when Kai Lin mentioned Taipang. Since Senior Tai Su Shengyan is still busy, I'll just have to wait a bit longer. Do you need to find him for something? Kai Lin asked. Most of the matters in the Do domain have been settled, so I want to find some time to visit the Fire Spirit Clan, Xiao Yan said. The Fire Spirit Clan? I remember that Tuo Shi Ancient Emperor is currently in the Fire Spirit Clan, and he's like a clan-securing divine fire there, Kai Lin said. Yes, Tuo Shi Ancient Emperor Yin was captured by the Fire Spirit ancestor thousands of years ago, And now he's in charge of the Fire Spirit Pasture in the Fire Spirit Clan, Xiaoyan said. The Fire Spirit Pasture raises millions of types of flames from the flame rankings, and that's the foundation of the Fire Spirit Clan. Tuashi Ancient Emperor Yin is currently ranked 3rd on the flame rankings, a king of flames. Managing the Fire Spirit Pasture is a piece of cake for him. Even so, Tuashi Ancient Emperor once helped you advance to Do-D, and he played a hidden role in ending the disaster in the Do-Chi continent. You can try to bring him back from the Fire Spirit Clan, Kailin said. In the future, when the Do domain develops, it might not be any weaker than the Fire Spirit Clan. Yes, that's what I was thinking, which is why I need Senior Tai Su Shengyan's help, Xiaoyan said. Tuashi Ancient Emperor Yin is extremely important to the Fire Spirit Clan. They probably won't let him go as easily as we hope, so a battle is inevitable. I'll need to borrow Senior Tai Su Shengyan's firepower to have any chance of standing up to them. This matter could very well be one of the major events of the Great Thousand Worlds in the past year or two, Kailin said. One of the major events in the past year or two. Did something big happen in the Great Thousand Worlds recently? Xiaoyan asked, puzzled. Kailin nodded. This happened half a year ago, not long after you participated in the 10,000 Pills gathering. In the northern part of the Great Thousand Worlds, a young man called the Martial Ancestor single-handedly attacked the Ice Spirit Clan, causing chaos from the outside in. Martial Ancestor? He single-handedly stirred up the Ice Spirit Clan from the inside out? Hearing Kailin's words, Xiaoyan was stunned. He had heard the name Martial Ancestor before. The most recent time was at the 10,000 Pills gathering when Dan Yu mentioned it. According to Dan Yu and others, this Martial Ancestor, Lin Dong, was the only person whose talent in the Heaven and Earth battle array could rival the Undying Lord. Someone like that, actually stirring up the Ice Spirit Clan because of a girl? How important could that girl be? So what happened in the end? Xiaoyan quickly asked, suddenly very eager to know the outcome of such a major event. Although the Ice Spirit Clan was shaken inside and out, it is still a name that stands alongside the Fire Spirit Clan and other ancient spirit races. In the end, it came down to their foundation, and after that, the details are not well known across the Great Thousand Worlds. In fact, this matter might not yet be finished, Kailin replied. Seems like this is indeed a major event in the Great Thousand Worlds, Xiaoyan said. This Martial Ancestor Lin Dong is truly a great talent. If I have the chance in the future, I would really like to meet him. Right now, we wait for news from Senior Primordial Sacred Flame. Yes. In the ice blue world, cold air filled the atmosphere, and countless vast lands and islands formed from frozen ice floated on the sea. However, these icy lands and islands appeared fragmented, and this fragmentation was not caused by natural forces, but seemed to be the result of a man-made battle. This was the northern part of the Great Thousand Worlds, home to a race that had dwelt here for millennia, the Ice Spirit Clan, one of the 5 great ancient spirit clans of the Great Thousand Worlds. Half a year ago, an event occurred here that shocked the entire Great Thousand Worlds. A man named Martial Ancestor Lin Dong single-handedly entered the Ice Spirit Clan. Along the way, whether it was the Ice Spirit Clan's Ice Spirit Heavenly Soldiers, the most outstanding young generation, or even the many high-ranking elders who came out in full force, none could stop this man's advance. Even the protective clan array activated by the Ice Spirit Clan was completely shattered by Lin Dong through strange means. Eventually, Martial Ancestor Lin Dong reached the ancestral land of the Ice Spirit Clan. His goal was said to be an ancient artifact called the Ice God Tablet, and the granddaughter of the Ice Spirit Clan's supreme elder, Bing Tsangqiang, Bing Huan. However, no one, no matter how much they speculated, could have foreseen how the situation would develop or the most important truth behind the whole matter. The Ice Spirit Continent, which originally seemed unremarkable in the Great Thousand Worlds, became widely known because of the Ice Spirit Clan's presence. As one of the 5 great ancient spirit clans, if one traces back to the time of Pengu, they could even investigate the birth of the Great Thousand Worlds. But such matters were far too ancient. Even within the Ice Spirit Clan, only the clan leaders and supreme elders knew the details. Due to the Ice Spirit Clan's long history, they possessed an immense foundation, and even though they had declined in recent years, the Ice Spirit Clan remained one of the 5 major spirit clans of the Great Thousand Worlds. At this moment, in the northeastern part of the Ice Spirit continent, within a vast expanse of icy hills, countless towering mountains had already collapsed into fragments. Huge ravines, tens of thousands of meters deep, had split the hills into pieces. If someone were to view from tens of thousands of miles in the sky, they would witness a terrifying scene. The Ice Spirit continent, once stretching nearly 10 million miles, now had a vast northeast region of several million miles almost sinking beneath the sea. Only the Ice Spirit Clan knew who had caused such devastating destruction. But now, all that remained was a quiet ruin, with no one bothering to inquire about what had happened, because of the spatial rift that had appeared in the sky above the northeastern region. The immense rift, tens of thousands of meters wide, hung suspended in the air. On the other side of the rift, there was also a blurry icy landscape. Yet the energy emanating from it was extremely chaotic. Buzz. A sudden buzzing sound echoed from within the rift, and then a huge object, square in shape, emerged from the rift, enveloping everything around it. The object that emerged from the rift was a colossal ancient stone tablet, thousands of meters tall. The terrifying cold emanating from it froze the space it passed through. Boom! The ancient ice-cold stone tablet, thousands of meters tall, fell into the valley below after emerging from the rift. The destructive impact caused the already shattered land to sink even further, but the stone tablet itself remained completely undamaged. Swish! 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 After the stone tablet was sent through the rift, several figures followed. 3 people emerged in midair above the shattered valley. One was an elderly man dressed in white robes, while the other 2 were a calm-looking young man in black and a girl held in the young man's arms. You only have 1 month. After that, the Ice God Steel will be sent back to the ancestral land of the Ice Fire dimension. You better hurry. If you need help, feel free to ask. The elderly man in the white robe stood with his hands clasped behind his back, pointing down at the enormous ice-cold stone tablet thousands of feet below. Thank you, Senior Bing Sangqiao. I hadn't realized you were planning this. The young man in black nodded, then glanced at the girl in his arms. A faint smile appeared on his face, one that had rarely been seen in the 10 years since his arrival in the Great Thousand Worlds. Huan, are you ready? It's about to begin. The young man in black asked the girl in his arms, and she nodded without hesitation. Yes. The young man in black was Lin Dong, the martial ancestor from the martial realm, and the girl in his arms was the very reason he came to the Great Thousand Worlds. As for what was about to happen, the answer might only be found by rewinding the timeline to 6 months earlier. 6 months earlier, the girl hurrying along the road. It was approximately 10 years after Lin Dong's arrival in the Great Thousand Worlds, and the location was a vast ocean millions of miles away from the 4 profound continents. Above the boundless blue sea, waves surged in every direction. Occasionally, massive shadows could be seen gliding beneath the waves. These were various strange spirit beasts living at the ocean's depths, some of which could even pose a threat to experts at the 3 heavens stage. In this dangerous sea, a delicate figure was rushing forward at the fastest speed she could manage. Although her pace was not particularly fast, the girl had been traveling for over 2 months, with 99% of the journey covered using teleportation spiritual formations. Yet, the remaining 1% still stretched for millions of miles. After traveling at full speed for 2 months, the girl had not yet reached her destination and had grown extremely weak from the strain. However, she still gritted her teeth and continued on, determined to reach her goal. Brother Lin Dong, Huan remembers you. Wait a little longer. Huan will come to find you. In the northern region of the Great Thousand Worlds, within the 4 profound continents, a woman swiftly flew through the air. She wore snow-white robes, and her beauty was cold and peerless, like a celestial being who paid no attention to the mortal world. This beauty was unique in the martial realm, and the woman was none other than the current realm master of the martial realm, Ling Qingzhu. Ling Qingzhu, as the current realm master of the martial realm, was known for her calm demeanor. Even in the face of major incidents, she remained composed. Yet, her haste and the concern on her face now suggested something of catastrophic proportions was happening in the martial realm. Whoosh! Just as Ling Qingzhu sped towards the distant horizon, another sound of breaking air came from nearby. A figure appeared beside her, having traversed several thousand feet in the blink of an eye. The figure had a delicate, jade-like face, exuding a somewhat mystical aura. This person was Lin Diao, one of the two kings of the martial realm. Lin Diao, weren't you in seclusion? Ling Qingzhu asked in surprise, her eyes widening slightly. Did you break through to Earth Supreme already? Lin Diao nodded. The true dragon imperial blood that Lin Dong brought back a year and a half ago was truly a rare treasure. It has done wonders for us. With those 400 drops of blood, I've undergone a transformation. I should probably be called Heavenly Dragon Lin Diao now. From now on, I'll be able to stand on my own in the martial realm. And where are Lin Dong and Yin? Ling Qingzhu asked. They're still in seclusion, but it seems that Yin, that fool, might be ready to come out soon, Lin Diao replied. So Lin Dong still hasn't shown any signs of coming out? Ling Qingzhu frowned slightly. Seeing her slight frown, Lin Diao immediately inquired about her reasons for coming here. Sister-in-law, is that matter for real? Yes, Lin Dong still hasn't come out. I'll have to go check on it. This is about the Ice Spirit Clan and cannot be delayed, Ling Qingzhu said. That girl must be Lin Dong's Ice Huan, right? Could it be that she's the reincarnation of Huan's shattered soul fragment? Lin Diao asked. This can no longer be denied. She might have regained some of her memories. She must have secretly left the Ice Spirit Clan and traveled all the way here, Ling Qingzhu replied. But the Ice Spirit Clan is billions of miles away from here. How did she manage to make it alone? She must have brought some supreme spiritual liquid with her and traveled through several continents using teleportation arrays. As far as I know, the last place she arrived at was the Beast Continent, which is the closest to here. After that, without any more teleportation arrays, she crossed the sea between the two continents by flying and rushed for over 2 months at full speed, Ling Qingzhu said. Flying in the air? Did she bring some divine artifact or treasure? No, she relied on her own spiritual energy to fly. To be able to fly using her own spiritual energy, that's something only those at the heavenly fusion realm or above in the great thousand worlds could do, right? Wait, is it true? You mean Ice Huan's spiritual energy cultivation has already reached the 3 heaven stage? If I'm not mistaken, she can't be more than 10 years old, right? Ice Huan is the daughter of the Ice Spirit Clan's supreme elder, so she probably has a divine or even a celestial bloodline. If she started cultivating at the age of 5 or 6, with the power of that bloodline, it would be abnormal if she didn't reach the heavenly fusion realm or higher within a few years. That celestial bloodline really is terrifying. At this rate, within the next 10 years, Ice Huan could absolutely advance to the supreme stage and her potential, at least above Earth Supreme, right? At this point, Little Mink was also astonished. They had spent over 100 years cultivating in the lower dimension to reach the supreme stage, and even though Little Mink had advanced to Earth Supreme after reaching the Great Thousand Worlds, it was primarily due to Lin Dong's help. If it had been through normal cultivation, Little Mink would probably not have reached Earth Supreme within 1,000 years. What happens in the future is unpredictable. Let's deal with the present first. I've already sent a message with my divine soul to Flame Lord, Dark Lord, and the others. They're closer, so they should have arrived first. Lin Dong hasn't come out of seclusion yet, and Ice Huan's arrival was too sudden. We'll have to handle it as the situation develops. But if she has recovered some of her memories, she should remember us. We'll see when we get there. About an hour later, after traveling at high speed, Ling Qingzhu and Little Mink finally reached their destination. It was a somewhat dim city located in the dark domain, built by the sea. The area spanning tens of thousands of miles was under the control of Dark Lord. However, the city was quite lively, filled with many strong warriors at the supreme stage, and even those exuding the aura of Earth Supreme. Swish, swish. Ling Qingzhu and Little Mink descended from the air into the dark city. Before them stood a dark god hall, and the most bustling area was inside this hall. The Realm Master has arrived. Even the Little Mink King has been alerted? Upon Ling Qingzhu's arrival, there were some voices from nearby, mostly from warriors at the martial realm. However, they weren't allowed to enter the Dark God Hall, so they chose to watch from the outside. Ling Qingzhu and Little Mink entered the Dark God Hall directly. Inside, not only were Flame Lord, Thunder Lord, Space Lord, Dark Lord, and others gathered, but even Ing Xiaoxiao and Ing Xuani had arrived. Most of the people inside the hall had previously known Ing Huanhuan in the heavenly mystic dimension. Among the group of Dark Lord and others, there was a delicate figure happily chatting with everyone around her. That was clearly Ice Huan, who had escaped from the Ice Spirit clan. Seeing her, Ling Qingzhu, who was standing at the entrance of the hall, froze for a moment. This was the first time they had met Ice Huan, and their first impression was oddly familiar. Ice Huan looked very much like Ing Huanhuan. Despite having the appearance of a child, she completely retained the ethereal aura of the Dao sect girl from back then. Ling Qingzhu had originally thought Ice Huan would resemble the Ice Lord with her ice blue hair, but now, Ice Huan's jet black hair shimmered with streaks of light inside the Dark God Hall. This girl was the Ing Huanhuan Lindong was looking for. Ing Xiaoxiao and Ing Xuani didn't need to be told. They had watched Ing Huanhuan grow up, so this current appearance of Ice Huan was exactly how they remembered Ing Huanhuan. That seems like Sister Qingzhu. As Ling Qingzhu stepped into the hall, Ice Huan immediately noticed her. She turned her delicate body, and at that moment, Ling Qingzhu walked right up to Ice Huan. The people in the hall fell silent. Ling Qingzhu was one of Lin Dong's women, and she had been the first to follow him to the Great Thousand Worlds to fulfill his wish. Everything she did was for this girl in front of her, as Ice Huan's previous incarnation, Ing Huanhuan, was the woman Lin Dong loved most. Your sister Ling Qingzhu, right? Brother Lin Dong must really love you a lot, Bing Huan said obediently, nodding her head after hearing Ling Qingzhu's question. However, Ling Qingzhu's gaze subtly sharpened. After briefly looking around at the others, she turned her attention back to the young girl before her. Although you look just like Ing Huanhuan, there's something different about you, Ling Qingzhu said. That's because I'm not Ing Huanhuan. I'm Bing Huan, Bing Huan replied. I may have some of Ing Huanhuan's memories and fragments of reincarnation, but I'm still Bing Huan. Since you have part of her memories, do you know about the things that happened between Ing Huanhuan and Lin Dong in the heavenly mystic dimension? Ling Qingzhu asked again. Of course I do. We planted trees together, and I often played the guzheng for brother Lin Dong, Bing Huan said. Then, she paused, and her expression suddenly darkened. There were some things that, even after crossing a whole cycle of reincarnation, still tugged at her heartstrings. The next words that left her lips, so innocent in tone, caused the hearts of those in the Dark God Hall to sink. Later, I burned myself to make brother Lin Dong stronger. Her youthful voice echoed through the quiet hall, and in that instant, a heavy, oppressive feeling fell upon everyone's hearts, as if a massive mountain had settled on their chests, making it hard to breathe. Only they, those present, would truly understand the weight behind those words. At the same time, far away, millions of miles from here, within a secluded cultivation cave inside a mountain, a heartbeat-like sound, akin to the pulse of the heavens, suddenly echoed through the air. Inside the cave, a figure dressed in black, like a rock, sat in silent meditation. At that moment, the black-clad youth seemed to be stirred by something within his heart. His eyes slowly opened, and a hoarse voice escaped his lips at the same time.